How the fidgety fudge do some of these people get those crazy high scores in Guild Wars? Well, love it or hate it, Guild Wars comes along once a month and in most guilds is a requirement. So by watching this video, I will tell you what I know about the scoring system and hopefully this will increase your enjoyment and score in Guild Wars. One of the keys to scoring good points in Guild Wars is before a single battle has even been fought, and it's to do with your defences. You need to have 24 unique troops spread across your 6 defences, and when you do that, you are given a 2,000 points bonus, which is added to your result for the first win of each day. This is 12,000 points in total. And more importantly, it is far more important to have these 24 unique troops than it is to have good defences. A good defence won't actually score you any more points as added to your own total, but having 24 unique troops will, and will get you that 12,000 points bonus no matter what your defence scores. So check and double check, make sure you have no doubled up troops across your 6 defences. So now we've got that 12,000 points in the bag from the defence, we move on to attack. Now each day is assigned a different colour, and if you fight using all troops of that day's colour, you will gain 50% more Guild Wars points per troop per battle. So this is really important to maximise points. So on a Guild Wars red day, for example, you want to make sure that all your troops, including the hero, use the colour red. No matter what team you use, just double check you're using red throughout the entire team. They can use other colours as well, obviously, but red has to be one of their mana colours. On a green day, for example, you just have to check that everybody uses green. And differently to your defence, you can double up in troops on this. There's no penalty for that at all. Just make sure you use the correct colour of the day. So our defence is in order, we're using all the correct colours of the day. Now obviously winning and losing is going to be the next thing that determines how many points you get, but it's how you win which is important at the same time. Now one of the things that's really important is having a full roster of troops at the end. If you finish the game and you haven't lost any troops, you're going to score more points than if you've lost some troops. So this is one reason I sometimes have a summon in my team, because if, for example, this team had a bad start and I lost Thrall early, I have a summoner at the bottom. I can bring in an extra troop if things go awry and keep the points total as best as they can be. So if you can, don't get sloppy, keep your troops in a team, do not lose any troops at all if you can, and you will score some bonus points. Next up is how many turns it takes you to win. Now this is important. By turns I mean unique actions. So a goblin that, for example, casts a spell and gets either a 4-match or an extra turn, that's going to count as an action or a turn every single time it loops, even if it's not doing hardly any damage, if it's just collecting mana. This same rule applies to the teams that contain troops like Shabanu, Vespera or Sycorax. Sycorax, for example, may be very good for giving your team a lot of health, but every time you do that and it loops, that counts as another turn or action. They're both effectively the same thing. And the reason why that's important is you get bonus points for every action less than 30 that you take to complete the entire battle. So this is why you see teams like this on Guild Wars days. This is a typical hyper-aggressive yellow day team. It contains a lot of skull generation. Divinish Bala creates skulls. You are relying on a little bit of luck at the start of these battles with these kind of teams, but that is literally all part of the game. And when it works really well. But this is why you see these aggressive teams on Guild Wars days, because literally the faster you can get the battle done, the more points you are going to score. So these type teams, Zulgoth teams, you see on Guild Wars days pretty often for that reason. Less turns it takes to win the battle, the more points you get. Next up we have mana efficiency. Mana efficiency is if you've collected, I do believe this one is correct, please correct me if I'm wrong, 4 times more mana than the opposition in the course of the battle, you will get bonus points. Obviously that is going to be extremely hard to actually track during the game, but I do believe that is one of the elements of point scoring, and what is pretty certain too is that we gain bonus points for each troop on our side which is at full mana when the battle ends. So a full roster of troops, all fully charged, ready to cast, is going to get you more points than if they are not ready to cast. Next up, we come to damage efficiency. This is very similar to mana efficiency, but it's obviously based on damage dealt in the game. Now, again, this is not 100% certain on this, because the reason is the devs are super secretive on the exact scoring of Guild Wars. But I think it is generally believed in the community that if you deal 4 times damage to the opposition than what they scored to you, you will get bonus points in Guild Wars as well. Which is why it's important to win battles, but without taking unnecessary damage. Even if you're pretty sure you're going to win the game, don't take unnecessary damage, because you can actually then lose out on that bonus. Just to make it clear as well, that a troop like this that does damage to all enemies, that does total up to that damage to all enemies. It's not like just 36, it is 36 times 4 if there were 4 enemies left. And one thing to note is if you are using a team like a true damage team, for example, where everybody does true damage apart from incidental skull drops, etc., you will obviously do effectively less damage, because it's still damage, but you're not affecting their armor. You are bypassing the armor with true damage, so it will be trickier to get that 4 times damage than the opposition if you use a true damage team. But that is another element to score you more points. So there it is, and as you can see, just winning a Guild Wars battle will earn you a decent amount of points, but if you really want to maximize the points in Guild Wars, you need to do each of those things in this video. Make sure you have those 24 unique troops on your defense, and that includes the hero as well. On the attack day, whichever color it is, make sure each troop is using that mana color of the day, and again, that does include the hero. When you're fighting, avoid using troops like Hiking Iron Gut that cause a instant devour. Effectively doesn't do any damage because it's a devour, and that's going to score you less points in the long run. Make sure you've got teams that do plenty of damage or plenty of skull damage. If you can, finish all battles with all troops, and ultimately all troops that are mana charged and ready to cast. That is going to do you good as well. And what else? How many turns take you to win? A fast team is going to score more points than a slower but safer team, but that is all part of the tactics to it, I suppose. And obviously try not to take as much damage in the battle as well. Like, even if you think you're going to win, avoid unnecessary skull hits, and don't take 4 matches which aren't necessary either. By that I mean sometimes you can win a game by one last cast or a skull hit was there, and just take 4 matches just because they were there. It is an autopilot thing to do sometimes, but that still counts as a turn or action and will lose you effectively 1 point, because you need to win as quickly as possible to get the most points. So there it is. There's my video on Guild Wars scoring. Let me know what you think in the comments. But most of all, thanks for watching, and make sure you click that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful. But there it is. Good luck on your Guild Wars. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.